This is lesson 5.3 from Go Math on estimating quotients with decimals. So I'm just going to do a couple of examples to show you how to estimate. So if we skip down to number 7, let's start there. So we have 43 and 6/10 divided by 8. The first step you're going to want to do is decide or figure out whether or not the dividend, which is this number, is greater or less than the divisor. So 43 and 6/10 is greater than 8. So because it is, I do not need to worry about decimals in this answer. I'm going to treat this as if they were whole numbers. So starting with the 8, we're going to leave it an 8 because it is a single digit. All single digits you're going to want to leave alone, okay? So then I'm going to copy down the division sign. And then I'm going to change this one as well. I want to make it a compatible number, a number that is a lot easier to divide in my head. So I'm going to look at the first two digits, the 43. So now I'm going to ask myself, what is a number close to 43 that will divide evenly with 8 with no remainder? Okay, so a number close to 43 might be 40. You could use 40 if you round 43 down to 40 because 40 does divide evenly with 8. Or you could go up to 48 because 48 also divides evenly. 48 is 5 away from 43, whereas 40 is only 3 away. So I'm going to round down. I always like to go as close to the real number as possible. So I'm going to change my 43 to a 40. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this decimal right here because, like I said, this number is greater than this one, so I don't need to worry about the decimal. I'm just going to change that to 40. Okay, so now to estimate, I just have to solve this. So 40 divided by 8 is 5. So the answer is 5. Okay, now let's try another one. In this one, our dividend is actually less than our divisor. Okay, 2.8 or 2 8/10 is less than 6. So in cases like this decimal now is super important. We know that this decimal is going to cause our answer to our division problem to also have a decimal in it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the same way. Our 6 is a single digit, so we're going to leave it a 6. We're going to copy our division sign. And now we're going to kind of pretend that this is the number 28 for a moment. I could rename it. It is 2 8/10, but I could rename it as 28/10. Okay, because 28/10 is the same value as 2 8/10. Okay, so I'm just going to remember that I have 28/10. So now I'm going to ask myself, what's a number close to 28 that divides evenly with 6? Okay, well, I know 6 times 4 is 24, and that's 4 away, or 6 times 5 is 30, and that's 2 away. So I'm going to use 30. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to change it to 30. But remember, it's not really the whole number 30. It's got a decimal point here. So I'm going to bring that decimal down, and that's going to be 3.0, which is actually the number 3. Okay, so now we're going to just, in our minds, pretend it's a 30 for division purposes. So 30 divided by 6 is 5. But again, these are 28/10, which we changed to 30. So we really have 30/10 divided by 6. And 30/10 divided by 6 is not 5. It's 5/10. So we do have to put the decimal back in our answer. One other way you could check this is if I were to leave this as a 5 and you asked yourself, 5 times 6, does that give me 3? And your answer should be no. 5 times 6 gives me 30, okay? Which is why we can't leave it as a 5, because that's not a 30, that's really a 3.